Port and Television, ICUMS Port is proudly brought to you in association with the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICUMS. The show is also streamed live on our social media handles. You can get us on YouTube at ICUMS Port Ghana, and today you would have to watch us on Facebook at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Tema Port. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Tema Port, and you would be able to catch us live there on Facebook. Remember, along the line, we shall be activating our phone lines for you to get interactive with us. But in the meantime, if you want to perhaps get interactive, just send us a message via our WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. We'll be glad to read your messages to the rest of the world. Now, remember, our media partner is also the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT, and so if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab a copy of the Thursday edition of the Business and Financial Times, and you're going to read all about what transpired here on the show tonight. Also remember that the abridged version of ICUMS Port is aired on Ghana Television, GTV, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are back shortly.
Every now and again, Goyle makes good things happen. This time, Goyle has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goyle Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goyle has that sorted. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
And it's time for us to go for some happenings in the port and maritime industry in the course of the week, and that is by way of local news. And the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders in the course of the week held a press conference, raised certain issues against some of the shipping lines operating in the country, particularly the charges. And we also had a training program. That's the Port Management Association, West and Central Africa, PMOCA. They had a training for some stakeholders across the continent or the sub-region in West and Central Africa. That was concerning the single window and how we can better it in our ports. We'll bring you that story as well. And also we have the Trades Minister, the Honorable Alan Shermating, speaking to us exclusively on his thoughts or assessment of the performance of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICUMS, so far. Enjoy these stories.
Members of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders have taken a swipe at shipping lines operating in Ghana's ports over what they describe as illegal and outrageous charges. They have vowed to embark on a series of events, including demonstrations, picketing, among other lawful activities, to ensure that the impunity is halted. Addressing the media, the president of GIFF, Edward Akrong, enumerated a number of issues ranging from administrative fees, coded invoices, strange claims on container damage, and cargo release processes that result in massive delays, adding up to cost to the importer.
Why would you pay a release from a shipping line and then the shipping line says, look, this is going to take about 4 hours? Now, 4 hours in the business time of our industry is a long time. That is the whole day. You've messed it up. Okay? Talking about the administrative charges. If I brought you 10 containers on one bill of lading, the release charge is purely administrative. Yeah. So you are releasing that bill of lading to me. I bring it to you in exchange for a delivery order. Why would you want to charge every single container that is on that bill of lading?
Edward Akrong said it was illogical for a shipping line agent to begin counting free days for the trader when the cargo is not at the disposal of the trader's agent. Edward Akrong wondered why a shipping line charged fees for online payments, which rather saves them cost and time. The president of GUTA, Joseph Obeng, also added his voice to the concerns expressed by the GIFT president.
Freight charges have gone up astronomically from 3,000 right up to 12,000 to 15,000. So who will not get up in this area when it's being surcharged again, where it is not legalized? Whatever thing they are doing, most of them are not legitimate.
A 5-day training workshop on the improvement of the implementation of single window systems for trade facilitation has been held in Ghana for key port community stakeholders. Ghana is among 7 countries identified for the initial phase of the program. The others are La Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea, Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Cape Verde. This capacity building program is under the Improvement of Port Customs and Operation Efficiency in Africa project under the auspices of the Port Management Association of West and Central Africa with support from the European Union. Project manager of the Ports Management Association of West and Central Africa, Tanto Roland, said such programs are to position African ports for resilience, efficiency, and competitiveness while leveraging digital technology.
When we start digitalizing, it means we reduce redundancy. We are more effective in what we are doing because we drill ourselves to know the procedures. And then anyone can be bought in easily. Onboarding becomes easy. And passing over of good practices becomes very easy. So this step that Africa is delving into is crucial.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Lugoje, said while Ghana is relatively advanced than some of its counterparts in the implementation of a single window system, such a workshop helps ports learn from each other towards the desired level of operationalization.
Single window is the way to go. It's not a choice. It is an obligation on every port, every trading organization to embrace it. In the Western countries, developing countries, they are way advanced. We are following suit. Ghana is also relatively more advanced in West and Central Africa than others. So this workshop is to give us the opportunity to learn from each other and be able to accompany each other to grow the single window project.
The Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Kwadwo Tremantin, has disclosed that since the introduction of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICUMS, customs monthly revenue mobilization has not crossed below the 1 billion Ghana cedis mark. Speaking exclusively with Iron Port, the Trade Minister also said consolidated revenue collection from June 2020 to May 2021, in comparison to the same period the year prior, grew from 11.2 billion Ghana cedis to 14.3 billion Ghana cedis. Alan Tremantin said the verdict is clear that these feats are attributable to the efficacy and robustness of the trade facilitation tool introduced a year ago.
And with the introduction of ICUMS, particularly the component that allows importers through freight forwarders to do pre-manifest declarations, that alone has reduced the turnaround time for the clearing of cargo from a couple of days running into weeks and months to below 6 hours as we speak now with the introduction of ICUMS.
He said ICUMS had come to solve the issue of the multiplicity of vendors in the clearance chain and its attendant shortfalls which had plagued the nation for decades.
Many of these service providers were operating on different platforms, some digital, some manual, with very little compatibility and functional interdependence, leading to a lot of revenue leakages. So that had been the story for many years.
The Minister of Trade and Industry attributed a resistance from some sections of the trading community during the initial stages of the implementation to a lack of appreciation of the value of the system. Alan Tremanting revealed that initiatives are ongoing to further enhance the system to provide optimal user experience.
There is now a centralized payment system for all government transactions. And I'm aware that an effort is already being made to ensure that that new system ties into the operation of ICUMS.
All right, so we conclude the local news segment on a very sad note because the freight forwarding fraternity or the shipping community as a whole woke up on Wednesday morning to the sad news of the passing of one of their own, Kweku Ochiridako. He is popularly known as KOD. He died via a motor accident and was transported to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital where he passed on Wednesday morning. A very young, vibrant, energetic man who was an astute freight forwarder, as his colleagues will attest. And we wish to say our sincere condolences to his family and getting them to understand that we are with them all the way and that we will be with them each step of the way as they take steps to give him a befitting burial. And we send our condolences as well to the freight forwarding fraternity, the president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, of which he was a member, and the other freight forwarding associations, and indeed the shipping community. We are with you each step of the way, and may soul rest in perfect peace. It's now time for us to go for the GOIL TV market. And the GOIL TV market is about showcasing the products and services of one of our lead sponsors, GOIL Company Limited. And this week's edition comes to you once again from Wenchi in the Bono region. And it's coming to you specifically from the Wenchi main service station. Enjoy.
GOIL, GOIL, in the service of the nation. North, south, east and west, wherever we put you first. GOIL, GOIL, GOIL is good energy. GOIL is good energy. Services so friendly through the nation.
95 ni yadia eboa ye car engine ena ba bia wo pese utu kwan ko bia no se 91 no edo obekọ wa ma 95 ni betimi de akọ 1.5 emre nyina no ama foto GOIL product no eye lubricant eye fuel bibia ya de a eye kama edema cars nti ama fo nkoso na omonto sa ne ma
nia yenim super yenim esewo market eyewe ana meboa na we nso yenim se we wo market na je obi anim se we nso wo market we eye ron 95 ena we eye ron 91 yen yeton ultra-low sulfur diesel endru 50 ppm no mpo yesi mesma ye pe o memu yesen 50 ppm na so binum ton as high as 1500 hot ppm ye de ye ton sa emma si enye sa de ni ntumu a na se sa stations no eton a na je se wokoto a ha de ha wo car na ne etie nie engine block no ewo bibia e friend say lining ehwe se o engine no ennom oil bebre se o line ne say a o engine no benom de oil na sha say smoky. Secondly, aside protect o engine block no say enka dade no se e ka dade na enye dan evaporation ne sa no man take place obenya some small quantity of water se water so wo ho a dade en be sha say den we na achi se we engine no so we na achi ana chese ne say yemu ano no ana meboa injectors nyina be say
XP3 na e wo go fuel ni mu no enye ma bebre ebi ne se wo ka no punwusi a manager nsuo wo fuel ni mu a etumi twe nsuo no efi fuel ni mu wo car no etumi cleaning injectors na ewo mu no na na ho hia pote ene say ma won safe ska ewo fuel so nti no say wo to fuel 100 Ghana na say wotumi de twa kwan be 100 kilometers wo to fuel fi goil so 100 kilometers no be bro na asa na ebe to aso no fuel no ye mu ahodro ye won ya ye fa edrobian kan eno no around 91 ebi mu around 85 impo ense say eba kromo ase na ye wo ni aye treaty na ye treaty no dia obi ape no na ye goil fuel
to na goil and one use I used to so many years me who fought to be our goil Kumasi to Sunya wanted to Kumasi wanted to Sunya Brekum Sampa ewa Srimna Yako.
Goil is good energy. Services so friendly to the nation. North, south, east and west, we always stand for the best. Goil is good energy.
All right, so welcome back. That was Goil TV Market, showcasing the products and services of Goil Company Limited. One of our lead sponsors came to you from the Winchi Main service station. Now, tonight we are talking the cashless policy that has been rolled out by the Ghana Revenue Authority. If you recall, in the months past, they have been sensitizing the public about this particular policy, and it got its peak on the 1st of July. That was a couple of days ago. And so tonight we are talking about it. We'll also be talking about the waiver of penalties and interest by the Ghana Revenue Authority. We've assembled a team from that outfit to do the discussion tonight. We have with us here Mr. Isaac Kobna, who is Principal Revenue Officer and Head of the Project Transformation Unit at the Ghana Revenue Authority. Good evening and thank you for joining us, Kobna. And I also have Madame Mercy Amele Brock. I hope I've not massacred the name. Correct. Thank you very much indeed. She's Head of IT Services Center at the Ghana Revenue Authority. These are the two persons we're discussing the issues with tonight. And so let me start with you, Mr. Kobna Amwaku. What is the cashless policy by the GRA about?
So the cashless policy, as has been touted, is one project that GRA is embarking on for a number of reasons. One of the reasons being that we want to align with government policy of digitizing the Ghanaian economy, because research has shown that if your economy is mostly cash-based, it becomes more difficult to tax your economy. All
right, so my producer says you can pull your microphone closer and position it well. Absolutely, fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you too. Okay. So one of the reasons being that we want to digitize the Ghanaian economy, that is reduce the heaviness of our dependence on cash to a digitized one. That is also being touted by the Vice President's drive to make the Ghanaian economy a digital one. We also have a policy known as Cashlight, where the government wants to reduce the cash transactions within the Ghanaian economy. We also want to improve the ranking on ease of doing business for the country, because once your ranking is very attractive, you're able to attract investors to your country. This policy would also help us to improve our tax compliance, as it will reduce the manual way of carrying cash, filing tax returns. These are the aim for which the cashless policy is being rolled out.
All right. Yeah. So let me come straight to you, Madam IT, and find out from you what the payments options are for taxpayers. But first of all, you have to tell us the process involved in paying taxes online. If I want to pay my taxes online, how easy is it?
Let me add to what Mr. Martin said. The GRA mainly is expected to find the taxpayer.
I think I would have to tell you to also to also draw your mic closer. Fantastic, yeah, sure.
Find the taxpayer, register the taxpayer, make sure that the taxpayer is assessed. All taxes must be paid, and then we concentrate on our core business, making sure that compliance and enforcement are taking place. So that's what I want to add to that. And then to seed the money handling to the best people who can do that, who are the bankers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So walk us through the steps that one will have to undertake or go through to pay taxes online.
Okay. Good evening to your cherished viewers. Yeah. Before you access or go online for payment, you need the internet. You have to get access to the internet.
That's very key.
Yes,
without it, you can't.
Very key. And then in the browser, web browser, you have to type www.ghana.gov.gh. Once you do that, you land on the
www.ghana.gov.gh.
Yes.
Okay.
There, if you haven't been there before, you need to sign up or register, let me say. So you click on the sign up button. You have to have your telephone number. You have to have your email address, and then you follow the prompts to sign up.
Okay.
Once you get there, now you want to pay. So you go to you select the Ghana Revenue Authority, and then you find File and Pay Taxes. You click on the File and Pay Taxes. It will take you to the GRA direct payments. You have some other options. If it is about you paying direct payments, you select that. If it is about VAT, you select that. If it is about customs duties, you select that. So then you need your TIN. You select the tax type you have to pay for. You have to select the period and then the payment option.
Okay.
When you get to the payment options, we have the usage of the bank cards, your debit or credit cards.
Okay.
You can pay via mobile money. We also have launched the USSD code *222#. You can use that, or you can pay directly at the banks. Once you sign up and then you do all these things, you get a notification giving you an invoice number. You use that invoice number if you want to go to the bank. That is what you present at the bank to do your payments.
So basically that's it. All right. I'm sure people perhaps were taking notes whilst we were going through the process. So if you can walk us through again, what I picked was that now there are 4 options available. That was going to be my next question, but I think that is captured here. You have Momo option, you have the credit cards, you have the SSD code that you announced, that you have just started, and you also have the direct payment at the banks. So those are 4 options.
You can do the QR code or the scan and pay option. There is another one.
Okay, so that's 5. QR code. All right, so please go over it again.
You first have to have the internet. You have to be connected to the internet. And then in the web browser, you type www.ghana.gov.gh. If you haven't signed up, if this is your first time there, you haven't gone for passport or anything, you have to sign up. So then you sign up. You will need your email address, you will need your telephone number, and then you follow the prompts to sign up. Once you are signed up, you want GRA, so you go to you search for Ghana Revenue Authority. On that page, the landing page of the Ghana Revenue Authority, you find a button there, File and Pay Taxes. You select that. It will take you to a page where you have to select which tax you want to pay. Once you select that, the system will ask you for your TIN, which tax type or the tax period, and then the payment method. So it is on the payment method that you have to select one of the options given. Either direct, you want to use your bank cards, or you want to do the scan and pay, or you want to use the mobile money option, or the USSD code, the *222#, or you go directly to the bank to pay. So once you select which option you want, The system generates an invoice for you, an invoice number. That is what, if you have to go to the bank or whatever you want to do, that is what you have to use.
Okay.
The invoice number.
All right. You mentioned one of the options as you go to the type of taxes.
Yeah.
I'll come to you. So they'll tell us the type. You educate us on the types of taxes we have. But let me come to Mr. Mwaku and find out from you. If I am in a rural dweller, there's a rural bank there. I perhaps maybe do not have access to internet and all that, and I want to pay my taxes. Is it possible for me to pay via the rural bank?
Okay. So these, I'll add to Madam Mercy, then I would explain further.
Right.
The Ghana.gov platform is not only being used by GRA. In fact, it is a platform the government has instituted, and other government agencies like Passport Office and some of the municipal assemblies are also hooked on this platform. So that is how come when you are able to get to the platform, you need to search for Ghana Revenue Authority. Okay. So as part of building the system, there's an agreement and arrangement that has been made with commercial banks. So there are 23 commercial banks in the country. We've been able to agree with 22 of them. It's only one of them that is in the process of putting their system together, so they also join. That similar arrangement is being made with the rural banks under the Apex Bank, which control all the rural banks. It is still in progress. And once it is completed, the rural banks will join this platform. So in the interim, what will happen is that if you walk to a rural bank, you cannot have the service. But if you have the check that is coming from a rural bank, you're able to use that check to go to any of these commercial banks and make the payment. Another thing is that Bank of Ghana, which is the government's or the central bank, also has a commercial division where they issue checks to government agencies. So if you also present a Bank of Ghana check to any of these commercial banks, they can honor that check for you. So that is the arrangement. Rural banks, you can walk to the rural bank and make the payment because they are yet to join the Ghana.gov platform. But other than that, any of these 22 commercial banks, you should have the service rendered.
All right. So in case I submit a check, let's generalize it to a bank. And then let's say there's a popular word we use, it bounces or it's dishonored. What sanctions applies to me?
Okay. So as Madam Mercy talked about that, GRA want to relinquish the work of handling cash and check. Those are not the core functions of GRA. It is the core function of banks. So
yours is to collect and go and give it to the bank.
To collect and put it in the consolidated fund
account.
The process of cash handling, cashiering, the safety of cash, management of bounce check. We don't want to handle that. In fact, we've had a number of challenges handling checks, especially. So we've relinquished that duty to the banks. So what will happen is that there are procedures for handling that checks from the central bank. If you issue that check consecutively for 3 times, there are sanctions that apply. Even for the first time that it applies, there are charges apply. After the 3rd time, you are supposed to be stopped from issuing check to make payment. So those sanctions that are in effect are still available if you present as a that check. The other thing is that when you present a check, we don't recognize that you have made your payment immediately until the check clears. So if you make a mistake and you submit your check on the last or the due date, when the period will expire, know that checks take 48 hours ordinarily to clear. It means that after clearance, you will be imposed an interest for the 2 days it took for clearing. So that's how the bounce check are being treated in this new policy.
I know along the line we'll be coming towards third-party checks and all that, and so when we get there. But please, walk us through the types of taxes we have.
Okay, so we have the value-added tax, that's the VAT. We have the withholding taxes. We have the personal income tax. We have the company taxes. We have the pay-as-you-earn taxes, PAYE. Are there more?
There are several. Maybe we can add excise duty.
Excise,
rent tax.
Customs duties, all that.
Okay, customs will go to the customs side.
So in your estimation, how many taxes do we have in our system? There are
about 20.
20?
About 20, if my count
Stamp
is right.
duty, yeah.
Stamp duty, tax stamp, vehicle
VIT,
income tax, excise tax stamp, gift tax, CST, that's communication service tax, imported services, mineral royalties.
And in fact, now we have the
COVID levy, the financial
it's enough.
recovery.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. So let me come to you, Madam Mercy, and find out from you if you can walk us through how one can pay your tax using mobile money.
Okay,
Momo.
like I mentioned before,
yes,
you use the *222# hash.
Okay.
It's an USSD code that's been developed for us.
Okay.
In fact, let me also state that you using this, you are not charged anything. There are no charges on you using the mobile
GRA has
money.
absorbed that cost,
Exactly.
isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So then, when you dial *222#, you select option 3 for GRA.
Okay.
Then it will take you to another screen. You select option 2 for direct payments. You enter a valid TIN. After entering your TIN, you have the various tax types listed.
Right.
So you have to select which tax type you are paying for. And then you have to, after selecting that, you select the period you want to pay for.
Right.
And then you select the amount you have to pay for.
Okay. All right. So let me come to you. Third-party checks. As a taxpayer, is it permissible for me to enter the banking hall and present that?
Perfect. So because we don't want the taxpayers to be inconvenienced, we are not making the case that you can only submit your home bank's check to your own bank. We've agreed with the banks that if a customer comes with a check other than that bank, it is acceptable.
Okay.
The only caveat is the time for clearance. So the advice to taxpayers is that do not present the third-party checks on the last day.
Okay, that was going to be my next question, though. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it's presented on the last day, what happens?
If you present it on the last day, there are a number of things that can happen. Chances are it will clear within the 48-hour window. So if you really don't want interest to apply, then what you should do is that take advantage of the special clearing. And even the special clearing, you have to do it in good time. I think by 2 or 1 o'clock, if you present special clearing, it won't take effect because that is also 24 hours. So you can take advantage of special clearing so that you present a third-party check and then it will clear same day.
Okay.
Other than that, the interest would apply after the 48 hours. So advice is that present it 48 hours before the last day, so you don't get the charges.
Okay.
That's for third-party checks.
Third-party checks, okay. All right, so let me come to you. Let's talk about people who are not registered on the Ghana.gov. Will they still be able to pay their taxes?
Yes, if you are not registered, you be able to pay your taxes.
How will the fellow do that?
Once you, you can use the payment options we have. You go walk into the bank, you give your invoice number, and then you pay. If it is about you using the mobile money, you also have to go through the process I mentioned and you pay.
Okay.
So you not registering doesn't mean you cannot pay.
Now, after payment is done at the bank, who will issue the tax receipt to the taxpayer?
In fact, the arrangements that we've made, the system generates a receipt automatically from the bank. So you don't need to go back to GRA to look for another receipt. It's a standardized receipt, which is recognized.
Okay. All right. So let's now talk about how GRA will deal with field collections and enforcement actions, particularly with regards to taxpayers in the informal sector.
Okay. So with the informal sector, the main means of paying has been cash. So now that we're going digital, the easiest way we can tackle the cash issue is through the mobile money platform, because year in, year out, we see that the mobile money transaction, the volume the value has been increasing. And if you check the last Bank of Ghana report, it has even now outstripped checks. So that means that there is that huge potential in the mobile money platform. So for field office, what our officers will do is that, one, they can help the taxpayer to generate the invoice, and then they can use the invoice number to pay on any of the mobile money platform.
Right.
So once an invoice is given to you, you can pay on MTN, you can pay on Momo, Tigo, Vodafone Cash. That is how we are going to go for field collection. It will mostly be the Momo.
Right.
And then where the taxpayers are a bit savvy, we can be training and teaching them to use their smartphones to just log on to the Ghana.gov platform and make the payment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so this is Ion Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we're discussing the cashless policy that has been rolled out by the Ghana Revenue Authority. We're also going to delve into the issues of, waivers for penalties and interest with regards to operations with the Ghana Revenue Authority. For now, we'll go for a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue the discussion.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
My guests are still in the studios. We have Mr. Isaac Kobnamaku, who is a Principal Revenue Officer and Head of the Project Transformation Unit at the Ghana Revenue Authority. We also have Madame Mercy Amele Brock, who is Head, IT Service Center at the Ghana Revenue Authority. They are those we are doing the discussion with tonight. Remember, you can send us your messages via our WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177. 0559-019-177. We'll be glad to read them to the rest of the world. So let me come to you, Madame Mercy. Can one also file his or her tax returns online? Is that possible?
Yes, please. You follow the normal procedure. You go on the Ghana.gov platform. You select the Ghana Revenue Authority. So the button which says that file and pay taxes, you click on that. We have file online there. You select that, and then you go through the various processes to file online.
And you are successful.
You are successful.
Once you're able to
follow the prompts, you'll be successful.
Okay. Now, what are the benefits of this policy to the Ghana Revenue Authority and taxpayers as well, Mr. Marco?
For Ghana Revenue Authority, one main advantage is the fact that we've pass the risk of handling cash and check to the banks. And we can now focus on our core duty of assessing, collecting and paying into the consolidated fund. So that is one major advantage for GRA. And also that risk of managing return checks. We've had a number of challenges managing the return checks. The taxpayers do something like there's something like Robin Hood. They move from one tax office to the other, presenting that checks, and then we have to spend resources looking for him to give his return check to him, even though he's in the custody of a receipt that is for payment. For the taxpayer, we think that by giving him multiple channels of payment, that is an advantage. Hitherto, he only has the GRA office. On the last day, they come and queue very long. Now, on weekends, you can pay. When it is raining, you can pay. You can pay even when you're outside the country. These are enormous advantage to the taxpayer that there are multiple channels of payment. So that's
all right.
it.
So no, apart from that, which others do you also think? Because I think that the mention of the fact that you want to concentrate on your core mandate of collecting revenues and all that, has there been occasions where maybe some of your men have misapplied taxes in cash and checks that they have collected?
Well, I don't have any data on some of these things sometimes, unless it is investigated and a report written. You won't be able to 100% say something. So by going with this policy, I think we stand a chance of avoiding the temptation of handling the cash. So now taxpayers, you don't have to handle cash to our tax officials. Just go to the banks or do it by yourself. And then you don't have the problem that they took the cash and it never got to government chest. So that's the
So what happens to these officials who were responsible for collecting the cash and the checks and all that? I mean, what role they be playing now?
What happens to
the cashiers?
To the cashiers. I mean, those that were handling.
Those who were playing that role, what happens to them? Okay. Internally, we've done more or less redistribution. Instead of they being cashiers, we move them to the back office. Some are doing reconciliation. So the platform on daily basis will give us the report on collections. So we get the different banks, how much they've collected, what the total platform is collecting, the office collection, and these people will do reconciliation to see if there's not been any shortfall going onto the system. So some are also being retrained to go and do operation works. So some will go on the field to go and do enforcement and compliance. These are the steps we've taken for our
So
staff.
everybody's covered.
Everyone is covered. No one is losing their job.
And the risk has also been eliminated.
And the risk has been highly minimized.
Right.
Yes.
So this means that this inures to the benefit of both the GRA and the taxpayer.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay. So let me come to you. Whether a new taxpayer without a TIN or Ghana card can use the Momo and Ghana.gov platform to pay.
In fact, without your TIN or PIN, now we are using the Ghana card also to pay. Without that, you cannot pay because we need to identify the taxpayer.
Right.
Without that, you cannot
So
pay.
if you don't have your TIN number, if you don't have a Ghana card, you can't.
You can't.
Okay.
And GRA has gone into an arrangement with the NIA.
NIA, okay.
So we have some offices where you can just walk into, you register and then take your card. Previously,
yes, I know. Even in Tema, in the long room, I know that they are stationed there as well.
Yeah.
Some of my colleagues have had to go there to get their Ghana cards.
So that's the opportunity that has been given to our taxpayers.
Right.
So you could just walk into any of our offices, the designated ones. You just go and register, so you have your card or PIN to do your payments.
Okay. So walk us through. Tell us about this other new policy, which has to do with the waiver on penalties and interest, and tell us what necessitated that.
Okay. Thank you very much. So tax paying involves two activities. The first one is the filing of your tax returns. Now, what is tax returns? This is your account of what you have done with your business and the computation of the taxes that are due to the state.
Right.
So that is where you prepare your tax returns, which is a document that you tell that, okay, from March to this, these are my sales, this are my expenses, and this is how much I have to pay to the government. Okay. Then when you file your tax returns, it means you are declaring a debt that you owe the government. Once you declare that debt, the next activity you have to do after declaring the debt is to pay it off. There are obligations, and each obligation comes with sanctions if you fail to honor that obligation. So if you fail to submit a return to the government, the sanction to you is that a penalty is imposed on you for not submitting the return on the time that it was required for you to bring those returns. Then also, when you don't make the payment at the time that is required, the sanction that is imposed on you is that interest is imposed on the principal debt that you owe government. Because if government has put that in treasury bills, he would have earned interest.
Absolutely.
So these are the two sanctions for these two activities: submission of returns and the payment of taxes. Now, we've had COVID, we've had other things that has happened to the country and globally. And the government, not wanting business to suffer, is coming in to soften the burden of taxpayers by proposing that if you did not file your returns within the COVID era, or some other natural causes cause your business not to be able to file your returns, then we are giving you an opportunity. But the deadline is that if you fall within the period ending 31st December 2020, then you are covered within this window, that if you didn't file your return, if you didn't make the payment of the taxes thereon, the penalty and the interest is being forgiven to you.
So you qualify for a waiver?
You qualify for the waiver. And the waiver is on the penalty and the interest. You have to be clear.
Yeah.
Not the tax.
Absolutely.
The tax hasn't been forgiven. It's the penalty and the interest that is being forgiven. So this is the waiver policy that we've introduced to lessen the burden of businesses because of COVID, because of any other thing that happened. Some taxpayers are required to register. For some reason, they didn't register. Once we find you and bring you to the net, we would impose a penalty for not coming on the tax net within the period under which you were supposed to. So that penalty and interest is what the government is waiving off you. With this new policy.
All right. So from my understanding, it means that this policy is limited to December 2020.
December 2020.
And so no waivers or penalties and interest from January.
From 1st January, you don't qualify. If your business, you couldn't file your returns or you couldn't register after 1st of January, you don't qualify.
Okay.
You don't qualify.
All right. All right. So let me come to you and find out, Madam, what the process for filing for a waiver is.
Okay. A person who qualifies for this waiver need to write to the Commissioner General through a specified form. This form can be obtained from any of our taxpayer centers or on the Ghana Revenue Authority website, www.gra.gov.gh.
Okay.
So you download the form there, or you pick a form from the any of our offices. Once you get the form, you complete it. You attach any documents showing that you have been assessed before and you haven't been able to pay or things like that. If you haven't had any interaction with GRA, then the Commissioner General will make sure that you are assessed based on an interview with you. Whatever information you give us will be based on the assessment we'll give you. And then you complete this, you submit the form and then all the necessary documents to your taxpayer service center for further review.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there are some messages that have trickled in. Let's take some questions so that you see whether you can get to answer them, and then we'll come back to this particular subject and see what benefits I stand to derive if I take advantage of this waiver on penalties and interest. This one says we've tried to pay our third quarter vehicle income tax using the short code, but the system was demanding for full amount, and that is 256 cedis. How do we go about it since we have already paid three quarters? Thank you. This one's from K from Ajay Kojo.
Okay. So we've been encountering this challenge, and this challenge came about because when we started the piloting, we first did one at our Tema TSC. Then we also did one with all the offices in Greater Accra region. And there's a system, a computerized system we are using. So for offices in Greater Accra, majority of these vehicles have been registered onto that platform. But if you move out of Greater Accra to the regions, we had not introduced this policy. So that meant that most of these drivers were operating on the manual system, which is not linked to this electronic system. And also, even within Greater Accra, not all the offices started at the same time. So some offices were operating digitally, whilst others were doing it manually. When it happens that the taxpayer is moving from office to office, chances are he went to the very first office, he got registered, he paid. The subsequent 2 quarters, he went to a non-digital office, and it was handled manually. So on the system, the debt is still pending. What the taxpayer needs to do is to walk back to any of our GRA offices, and then the officers would do what we call a waive or adjustment on his account. And then they will, if he show evidence of the receipt of the previous payment or even the previous sticker, or if he has the logbook, any of these evidence, the officers would adjust his account to reflect the correct tax payment. Then he can carry on and then make the correct payments.
Great. Okay, so this one says, please kindly find out for me how a company can file workers pay as you earn, that's payee, with this new system, because it looks like some of their officers can't even provide any information or assist in that. Thank you. They fully didn't add the name. Can you help profess some solution how they can pay their workers pay as you earn?
The workers should have TIN in the first place. And then usually we have a schedule. This schedule, once you are filing, you attach the schedule to you attach the schedule on the online filing portal. So that is what is going to ensure that every employee is taken care of from the system. I don't know if there is any.
So what I would add is that the online portal starts with an individual registering on the portal. Then the individual will then register the corporate entity that needs to do the filing. So in this case, if the company is Metro TV, Metro TV would then have to enroll on the system as Metro TV, and then can then start filing the PAYE on behalf of its staff. We at the beginning we were having some technical challenges on the filing side, so I believe this particular taxpayer will be in that category of those who were not successful to do the enrollment. So we've given our vendors within the month of July to work out some of these technical challenges. So anytime you face a technical challenge, please do not worry. Just walk to any of the GRA offices, especially where you are assigned as a tax office, and then the officers should be able to assist you. But we believe within the month of July, we should be able to iron out the technical issues we encountered for the filing.
Okay. So whilst we continue with the messages, let me announce that our phone lines are activated. You can call the phone line. That's 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. We are glad to pick your questions and inputs on the discussion. Now, this one says, considering that they have begun implementation, are they confident sufficient sensitization have been done? Those who don't watch TV or listen to much to radio, for example, are they aware?
In fact, we are working on that. We have made some street announcements. Our vehicles with the loudspeakers will be going from street to street, depending on the area of the TSC. And then, in fact, we have been doing this. That's why we are even here. And announcements, we will use flyers, T-shirts, and things like that. Very soon, all these things are going to come up, and then we'll help the taxpayers to do what is appropriate.
Right. Okay, so this one says, when people present their tax on the last day, why charge them an interest when the receipt of the bank in the stamp state that they paid within the stipulated time? If they don't take care, somebody will take them to court. Even if the person pays through the post office would be taken as an agent of the tax office. These people have to do the right thing and not court displeasure of the tax-paying public. Sometimes they try so much to scramble money, but they must do right. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's explicit.
Yes, it's explicit, yes. But what I'll add is that the mere presentation of check is not evidence of payment. Check is an instruction to your bankers to make the payment. If your bankers haven't given the money to the authority, we haven't received your money. So that is the new normal now. So there are a number of payment options apart from checks. And also the check, the only one that has this penalty or interest attached is third party.
Right.
So if you're a taxpayer and you don't want to fall under this, just present it at your own bank and you don't come under this bracket.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to the phone lines. I understand we have Ima from Sunyani on the lines. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes. Thank you very much for calling us. Please go ahead with your submission.
All right. With the people paying the VIT, the vehicle income tax.
Hello, Ima. Could you speak up a bit?
Hello.
Yes. Speak up a bit for us, please.
Yeah, please. I'm asking a question on the VIT. The vehicle income tax.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they said that what
Ima, your line is breaking. We don't seem to hear you clearly. I don't know whether it's our line or it's a general problem we're having here. But please try and then let's see whether this time you'll be audible enough for my guests to hear and respond to what you are saying. Is it still on line?
So, can you hear from me?
Yeah, now it's clear, yeah, sure.
All right, please, I want to ask a question on the vehicle income tax.
Go ahead,
all right,
please.
They said if you are to pay your vehicle income tax, you have to have the TIN or the Ghana card. But here is the case, most of the drivers don't have the TIN. And they said that the telephone number or the number you use in registering the TIN, that number should be the number you will use to pay with the Momo pay. I mean, if you have to pay through mobile money, you have to use that same number. Most of the drivers who didn't use their telephone numbers or their mobile money numbers to register their tax. So it becomes very difficult for them to pay their tax on the VIT using the code they provided through the mobile money. So I want to ask that what are they doing about that one? Because some of them, when they come, they say they should go to the bank, and some people will say because of 20 CDs, 25 CDs or 30 CDs, they can't go to the bank and be in the queue. So if they had provided a code for them to pay the money through, and the code too, they say unless you use the telephone number or the number you use in registering the TIN before you can pay through, you can pay your tax. And so that one too is not working. I want to ask if there are any measures or there is anything, or the only thing is for them to go to the bank and pay or be in the queue just because of because of 20 CDs, they should go and be in the queue and pay for that.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Ima from Zunyani. We are grateful for your time and your call. Would you like to perhaps give a response to
that maybe
his
Madam
concerns?
Messi will join. Okay.
Yes.
So for vehicle income tax, there is an exception.
Mm.
The exception is that you don't have to use your Ghana card or tax identification number for vehicle income tax payment. You can use the vehicle registration number. So you go onto the *222#. You select the GRA as option 3, and then the options that come, you see vehicle income tax as option 4 for now. Okay, so you select vehicle income tax, and then it will ask you whether you are doing multiple cars or a single car. So if it's a single car, you select the option 1, that's single payment, and then you type in your vehicle registration number. Make sure there are no spaces in between, and there's no spaces before and after. So if it is GT 578-20, you make sure that you type it as it is, and then you press the send. Automatically after it is successful, it will display your bill to you. So it will display whether you have 200 to pay or 10 cedis to pay. Then you proceed from there.
Okay. Let's say a good evening to Kwabna from Asenkrigwa. Good evening, Kwabna.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Please go ahead with your submission.
Okay, sir. My concern is with the the payment of the tax using the mobile money option. When you register with a mobile number on the Ghana Gov platform, making the payment, for example, if you select MTN, it doesn't give you the option to edit the number you want to make payment with. So I would entreat that henceforth they should look at it so that when you are making payment, maybe I registered with an MTN number and I want the deduction from an under MTN number, they should allow us to edit that number so that you can make payments from that number. And also, henceforth, they could create an offline app which does not use mobile data. So anywhere you are, you can access this app and make payments from.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes.
And also, looking at the rural taxation, where we find ourselves, you go to some of the taxpayers or some of us, we don't carry our tin to the market, to our shops. So if they could provide a system whereby if even I don't have a tin with me, the tax officers come around, they could come along with maybe a tablet or something that they could access their information from the office on the phone so that payment of taxes could be easy.
Right. Very good suggestion. Thank you very much indeed, Kwabna from Asenkrigua. Would you like to say something or respond to
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Kwabna. Yeah. Thank you so much. We have taken note of that. We realized from the MTN one, and we are talking to our service providers regarding that. And then your suggestion for us to use our tablets on the with the information on it is well noted. We'll make sure that we talk to our officers.
The powers that be.
Okay. Let me add to Madam Messi. So for the MTN one, it is an internal policy of MTN not to allow the editing of the person who has signed on to the Ghana.gov with another person. Okay. So the option 4, which Madam Messi talked about, you know, the option 1 is the card, the debit and the credit card. The option 2 is the scan and pay or the QR pay. And then the option 3 is mobile money. The option 4, known as *222* star invoice number, can be used to solve the problem Kwabna is talking about. So where you want someone other than you, the person who is registered, to pay by MTN, use option 4. It generates the invoice number. You just dial *222* star the invoice number hash on the MTN and it will work.
Right. All right, so let's welcome Bright to the show. He's calling us from Tesano. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, please go ahead with your submission, Bright.
Okay. Yeah, I was following the discussion and I tried using my Momo to assess whether if I was just trying it. But I realized that when I got to the TIN number aspect, I entered the TIN number and also it took me to the month and the year, of which I did. But I could not see any information concerning the companies, with the company's details.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, Bright, for your call. I think Madam or Mr. Amak would like to take that.
Yes. We also noted that some taxpayers were facing this technical challenge where after they've dialed the *322, they've provided a 10 or Ghana card. The next, it will bring the tax type for them to select. And then after that, it passes an error message. When you get to this one, you just have to please contact our office and then they would help you out. We are also talking to the vendor to rectify this because it looks like majority of the taxpayers trying that option is failing.
Okay.
So our vendors have also been notified.
And
they are working on that one.
Okay. So let me find.
Beginning of new things, we always have to refine and review fine tune.
Right. Okay. I told you I was going to come to you, Mr. Mwako, to find out what I stand to gain if I take advantage of the waiver on penalties and interest.
Okay. So once the government is forgiving you a penalty or an interest, that is cash flow that has been made available to you, the taxpayer. So the number one benefit to taxpayer is that your cash flow remains intact. As a business, you need cash flow to be able to turn around your business. So that is why government has introduced this policy not to affect the cash flow of businesses and allow them to have their cash to turn their business around. And then people will get employed, businesses will thrive. That is the number one benefit, cash flows.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you said number one benefit. So I'm sure there are other benefits, isn't it?
Well,
so
to me, that's the key.
Before you come to those ones, let's welcome Samuel from Legon to the show. Good evening, Samuel.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead with your submission, please.
Yeah. I have a question, though not entirely related with the cashless policy, but it has to do with GRA or the same.
Okay.
There was a time I reported an institution that was not paying tax. They've existed for a while, and they were not paying tax. So I reported them to the GRA, the area in which they operate, and then they went to do their investigations, and then they found out that the report that I made was true. The institution was really not paying tax. Is there something that I'm entitled to after reporting? Because they called me
as a whistleblower.
That whatever I mentioned was true.
As a whistleblower. Okay, they will answer you. Thank you very much, Sami. From Legon for your call, and thank you for being a citizen. Yes. So, would you like to respond? Is there something for whistleblowers, people who
I think there was
who knows that there are people who are not paying their taxes and try to draw attention?
Set up in the Ministry of Finance, where when you do such things, you are rewarded. I believe when he goes there with evidence that he was the one who blew the whistle, he will be.
You will sort it out.
Sorted out.
All right, Simon. So I hope you have heard, Madam. You said you should head to the Ministry of Finance.
No, it's within GRA.
The
DMC.
Oh, okay.
Normally, if you report there, we have what we call the Informant Award.
Okay.
So what happens is that when you give, they take you through a process. They register you. They keep your information confidential.
Yeah.
If you're able to help GRA to recover the money, the penalty and the interest, you are entitled to 25% of the penalty and interest.
You don't mean it?
Yes.
Okay.
But there's a cap.
Sammy will become my friend.
It shouldn't exceed,
Sammy, you are my friend.
I think
Whether
it should
you like
not
it or
exceed
not.
25,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
If it exceeds 25,000, then we have to get the board to approve.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are, yes, there's a reward.
All right, so Sammy can walk into your head office.
The head office, go for the DMC.
DMC.
Yes, debt management, compliance and enforcement department.
Unit, yeah.
The unit, yes.
Okay.
And then you are taken to the informants. Yeah.
Hey, Sammy, when you are going, please call me. Let me come and accompany you so that I'll get my share. All right, so let's welcome Lucas from Abeka Junction to the show. Hello, good evening, Lucas.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Please go ahead with your submission.
Oh, okay. I'm following the discussion as well. And I tried the Momo with payment option, but I realized that after entering the year and the month, in addition to the PIN number, no information will display in regards to the tax payment, the tax type I want to pay. That is, let's say, with the PAYE.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I didn't hear the last part of his question. You heard it, all right?
I think you should be registered for a particular tax type before you can make payments on that.
Okay. All right. So you can also give us a call. I think my producer is telling me we can make room for just one more last call, and we would close the calling segment and then move to other issues as far as this discussion is concerned. But you were mentioning some of the benefits that would accrue to me, and you said, first of all, is
cash
to save
flow.
some liquid, yeah.
Yes, you get the liquid. And then the fact that government, normally businesses keep making appeal to government that we want, what do we call, amnesty, so that the burden on businesses is lessened. So I think this is one benefit. The amnesty has come in the form of waiver of taxes to businesses. And it's also the fact that you were supposed to go through the process of doing your filing and you couldn't do it. That has been forgiven. So that to me is the benefit apart from the cash flow. The fact that the procedure of going through you didn't do it and we have to slap you with hefty penalty.
Yeah.
And also we've listened to businesses wanting amnesty to be granted, and this is one
of the
clarion
ways by which you
call
can
that
show.
the government has listened to taxpayers.
All right.
Yeah.
This one says, I opened a company for 13 months. During these months, the business is not doing well as expected. Now, the business is now a bit okay after the 9th month. How can I pay the tax the company needs to pay during the month of existence, taking into account the unstable nature of the months in business?
Okay, so taxes are not supposed to be paid if you don't make profit. Taxes is paid on profit. So if you are running a business and you're keeping your records well, you are supposed to calculate your inflows or your turnover, your sales.
This is very important to me, so hold your
Okay.
fire. Let me go onto the phone lines and speak to Mr. Nagazi. He's calling us from Mata Heko. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead with your submission.
Please, I want to say something small. There are some private companies in Ghana that are not paying tax, some. And then also not paying tax for Ghanaian workers. What is GRA doing about it?
Construction companies.
Pardon?
You said construction companies not paying tax for their workers.
I'm saying some foreign companies are not paying. And so they are not
From
also
foreign
paying
companies.
tax
Okay.
for-
All right. Great. All
They
right.
are, they are also not paying tax for the Ghanaian workers. What is GRA doing about it?
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We're grateful to you for your time and your call. Would you like to? I think it's very important.
Okay, so I should take this one before I go back to
Yes,
the other
absolutely,
question.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have an intelligence unit where if we get information that a particular company is not paying their taxes or is cheating, we then send our auditors around to go and audit those firms. So if he has valid information that this is happening, he should take advantage of the Informants Award, go to the department within the head office of GRA and report.
Right.
And if the investigators are able to find that it is true and we recover the tax, his share is waiting for him.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So he would fall in the same line as my good friend from
Yes.
Tessano. Yeah,
Yes.
Legon. Yeah, that was Legon who called. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to the issue of this young business that is struggling to be
That
on
is
an
struggling.
even keel,
Yes.
and still has to pay taxes.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You know.
So as I explained, you only pay taxes on profit. So in theory, if you don't make profit, you are not supposed to pay taxes. And then if you also break even, that means your inflows is equal to your expenditure or your expenses to the business. You're also not supposed to pay taxes because you have zero.
Yeah.
So it is because most business, especially within Ghana, we don't keep records. So finding the record.
Okay, so keeping of records. I pause you there. and I welcome Mark Anthony from Bawe to the discussion. Hello, good evening, Mark.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Please go ahead with your submission.
My submission is that I just want to know if churches, after giving contracts to their church members for the church, are supposed to withhold taxes from the contract.
Is that your question?
Yes, sir.
You are sorted. All right. Thank you very much indeed. My guest
Thank you.
would answer you. We are grateful to you for your call.
Thank you.
Mark Anthony from Bawe. Yes, so
Yes.
that's the direct question.
Yes.
So you answer that?
Yeah. The church is supposed to withhold from when you are going to pay them. You withhold a percentage. I think we have percentages for specific jobs. So you withhold that, and then you have to pay to the GRA. Because once you give the money to the worker, he's not going to pay.
Yeah.
You will withhold and then send it to GRA, pay. I think with that, they may also request for TCC and things like that. And we know that once you have your name on our list, that you've paid such taxes, you are qualified to get your tax clearance certificate.
All right. Thank you very much. So, Ike, you go back to your...
Okay. So back to
answering your
the,
question on
yes,
the-
yeah.
the
So as I said, I
new
repeat
business, yeah.
again, we pay taxes on profits. So if you're keeping records, your record will show your turnover. That's your sales that you've been doing or the revenue that you are accruing to the business. Then you are supposed to keep record of the expenses that is related to running of the business, not your personal expenses.
Right.
So if you have these records that you are keeping, at the end of each tax period. We have specific taxes with different tax periods. So for pay as you earn, that is for your workers, it is at the end, in the middle of every month, you're supposed to account for that tax. Then for withholding taxes, it's also comes, that's when you give contract to suppliers. You are supposed to withhold a portion and also account for that and pay to GRA. Then you have your quarterly payment of your either personal income tax or your corporate income tax. Once you are running the business and you are keeping the business record, all your sales, you're keeping it. The expenditure for running the business, the rentals, the salaries, the operational machine, the computers, and you deduct from your revenue. The remainder is what is taxable. And you need a qualified tax accountant or an accountant to prepare your tax returns for you. Once the records are well kept and your business didn't do well, you may either be in the negative or you break even. And if you are in that category, you don't pay taxes. That's the corporate income tax, not the withholding taxes, because the withholding taxes is different.
All right. So let's take our final caller, who is calling us from Anya. He's called TK. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Please go ahead with your submission.
Okay, I want to talk. I want to speak. Chief. I want to speak a chief.
Please flow.
Yeah. Upon the pastor, me amo kano. Emina no. Na taxes no. Taxes no. Me mo ka penalty ne interest ne ne ma. Omo mo di tax no so no. En se hono so mo check ho yie. So Omo did taxes, especially AMA for no.
Okay.
Yeah, Omo did petty things now. Omo to adie nkite no. Omo no tax no. Omo think kan twa omo de anopa. Omo ticket no. Omo ye omo de anopa etwa efa. And sana omo be twa government de no. If you are so check it on no nyina. And yes ye mo kika ni nyina no. Na ekọ kwabani botom eti esamo check e ho so ye omo gigi be fruit ne pure water ne ta think no omo twa omo de anopapa ticket no eno and san omo twa government de no eti ho no so esamo check ho ye.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, TK from Anya. Is he talking about a daily toll that they take from traders?
That is the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Assemblies. They are in charge of the market tolls and other. That doesn't come under the purview of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Absolutely.
So I believe he's talking about that particular one. Yes.
All right. So if the powers that be are listening, I think that's
tax stamp or something like that.
Absolutely. All right. So let's go for our final break, and when we return, we'll take your last words and then we wrap up the show.
Thank you.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
right, so you're welcome back. And I go straight to this message that has come in. It says, I am Katachia from Sunyani. Please, concerning the VIT, I guess that's a vehicle income tax. You enter the vehicle registration number and they always say it's invalid. Is it a system or what? And can anything be done about it? Because it's worrying. Drivers will have to park their cars and go to the back and join a long queue. So what can they do? When they enter the vehicle registration number, it tells them it's invalid. I think that
it means that the vehicle hasn't been registered on our system. So the person will have to go to our offices and get the vehicle registered there first.
So do you have any collaboration with the DVLA so that when they register these vehicles, it registers in your system as well?
In fact, it is something that we are thinking about when we started the piloting. And because of the, what do you call the stoppage of the payment for trotros and taxis.
Suspension,
Yeah, the suspension.
Right.
We are working towards that. That will get an API between us and then the DVLA so that things will work out.
Normally,
because sometimes it's even very difficult trying to register them.
All right.
Those who come with the information to register may not know the taxpayer's name or other information.
Right.
So it will actually help us if we are linked with the DVLA.
All right. So let's take your final words, just in 1 minute, and then we come to you, Mr. Amwako, and take yours, and then we wrap up.
In fact, before we get there, this window, the tax waiver window, is open up to 30th September 2021. So let's all take advantage of that and then ensure that we register and then complete the forms and then pay our taxes rightly. It is said that little drops of water
makes a mighty ocean.
So tell our taxpayers that let's make Ghana great. We need the taxes to build our economy. Thank you. Thank
you very much indeed, Madam Mercy Amele Brock, head of IT Center, IT Service Center at the Ghana Revenue Authority. And let me come to you for your final words, Mr. Isaac Kobna Amwako.
So my final words is that we started going live on this policy from 1st June, where we stopped taking checks in our offices and directed the traffic to the banks.
Right.
Then as of 1st July, we also started the second phase, where we stopped taking cash in our offices and we directed them to the banks. I must say that the results that we've seen from the system is very encouraging. More than 50% of the revenue has come through the platform.
Wow.
So that tells you that the system is really working. We are having challenges. As we encounter the challenges, just please walk to any of our offices for resolution. I think we have a number, a toll-free number. Yes,
0800 900 110.
Once
0800 900
110. It's a toll-free line.
Yes.
So.
So you are not charged if you call that. Anytime you have challenge, please call that number. If you call and it is not going through and you can make contact to our office, please go to our offices and then you would be helped so that you can have your taxes paid seamlessly.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac Kobna Amwako, Principal Revenue Officer, Head Project Transformation Unit, Ghana Revenue Authority. And Madam Mercy Amele Brock, Head IT Service Center, Ghana Revenue Authority, for joining us tonight on Iron Port to discuss the new policy that has been rolled out by the Ghana Revenue Authority. That's the cashless policy. We also discussed the waiver of penalties and interest and the steps you can take to access this particular policy and enjoy the dividends therein. And that's how we draw the curtain on tonight's edition of Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the repeat or the abridged version of the show is aired on Ghana Television at 8:30 on Wednesday, 8:30 every Wednesday. Please make a date and don't be late. My name is Kennedy Mona. We'll see you again next week, God willing.